Welcome everyone to the first big mod showcase on Planet Coaster 2. Today we are looking into Sky Studio. This is a mod that has been tested in a modding Discord for a while now. It's not officially on Nexus Mods yet, but it is about to go into the final stages, as it now has the most important feature, and that is saving presets. I'll get to that in a second. I'll explain what this mod is all about. Let me just tell you, this mod, as you've seen from the thumbnail, is a freaking game changer. Really, it is. Let me showcase, because this is a mod that lets you basically change everything about the atmospheric and like weather appearance of your park. We are here in the Hanseatic Dreamland, and as you know, many people still say that this game looks a lot too colorful, a little bit too, you know, saturated, a little bit too just overall poppy, and you can already tell that this parks look a lot better than usually because of all the environmental buildings I've done. It just kind of desaturated things immediately because of using so much gray. The reason for that is the global illumination. In case you don't know what that means, it is a system that uses the global light in the game and uses also surfaces to bounce the light from it. And so if you have like an orange surface, let's say, it bounces orange light back. So if you've got an orange room, everything will have a orange tint to it. Now, I do have a preset that I kind of tried to do, and this is the blue tint. Just gonna load this real quick, and then you can see, boom, the whole game looks a lot more bluish. That's already it. You know, the whole game looks a lot desaturated and a lot like how people would like to see it. But you can also see there's a couple of things in the sky going on, so we can change these things. So we have, first of all, we can override the time of day if you want to, which is kind of cool, because you can also use this to make better screenshots or just to have like a better idea of where the things are. You can enable, disable that what you want, but you get a way more granular control over this. But you can also have the sun. As you can see, you can also multiply the sun effect. You can have a very bright sunny day, or you can make it almost like nighttime while it's day. I figured that 110 is kind of a good little thing. But you can also, if we're gonna catch where the sun is, there's the sun. You can also change the size of the sun if you want to, and then also kind of create a bit of a nicer look. I kind of like this a bit more like this, so glowing hot in summer, you know, there you have it. But you can change a couple of other things as well. So the atmosphere, I have changed a couple of things on the atmosphere, but you can see if the density is changed, you can see you are also basically changing a bit like how the sky appears. You can always go back to the reset, and then this is basically the you know, the normal values, so to say, the in-game values. But you can also change a couple of things, for example, like fog. If we enable fog, and we are going to say fog density, there you have it, a very foggy day if you want to. So that's kind of cool. We are going to do some presets now in today's video for different weathers. You know, this would be a very kind of nice foggy haze day, but what is the problem about this kind of thing is normally it would be overcast, right? So this is where override clouds come into place, and then you can say coverage is basically almost non-existent right now, but we can just increase the coverage of clouds. There you have it. And then we can also increase the thickness or make them lighter like this. You can also say the density of them can be less dense, so a bit more like this. It's fitting for a hazy day, I guess, like this, or like a foggy day. Usually you don't really see that much from the blue sky, so you can increase the density a little bit again and the coverage. So there you have it. But you can also change the height, or the in general, like make them come down a bit, the altitude and the height of the cloud as well. They'll make them like very low, for example, like this. And then you've got like this very thing. You can go to coverage 100%, and it's all overcast, you know. You get this wonderful, nice overcast preset. Look at that, isn't that great? But you can also do some other things. Like, for example, if you go to the global illumination over here, you can then change how the light is affecting. So, for example, if we change the ambient sky intensity, it's go all the way high, but you can also reduce that. For a foggy day like that, it would make sense to have less sunlight coming through, and the intensity you can either increase or decrease. So you can also have a way more decreased intensity. If I go to 0, that is almost looking a little bit weird. I don't know what that is, but this looks way too weird, so we're gonna pump that up again. I think 1 is the core value. I think we're gonna keep it to that one, because the rest is already pretty dark. And you can increase the bounce light if you want to, so you can see that a little bit in here. The shadows become a lot brighter. If we do that down, you can see shadows are very much dark, and if you put that up, you get all the bounce lights coming back. So there's also something you can find in the midst of it. I think 0.4 is somewhat good. And you can also change the multi-bounce intensity, even though I haven't really found what that is, so I'm going to keep it as is. But there's also some even more cool stuff. You can override the HDR adaptation time, which is basically the time that it requires to go into a interior to make it dark. So if we go in here, for example, oops, you can see that my oh wait, let's just go, where do I have like a dark room? Do I have a really dark room? I think I have one over here. Hold on, I'm gonna fly over to this one because that one is pretty dark indeed. So we're gonna go into here, somewhere in here should be, there you go. And if we go in this room, usually what it takes a while until it's getting super dark. It's a bit too actually the fog is a little bit of an issue here. It gets into the houses as well. But let me just quickly get rid of the fog real quick. So there you have it. So this is taking less time to adjust to the light. There you can see, and then it's all dark in here. You can even go lower on that. So if I go on 0.33, for example, boom, adjusted, boom, adjusted. So that's kind of cool to really have a little bit lesser time until it's getting dark or bright inside of your rooms, which is a lot more helpful, especially for dark rides. That makes a huge difference, where you can set up these settings, which is really cool. And the last thing I'm going to show you is the shadow intensity. Actually, we should bring back the fog real quick because I wanted to make that preset. Where did I have that? Like, what's that? I'm not sure which value it was. We're going to keep it that value over here. Is nice. And now what you can do with the shadows, as you can see, you can make them super soft. And it almost looks like Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 now. You know, that is typically not what you want to have, but you can really reduce it all the way. Then you've got very sharp shadows, almost like not good looking at all. If you go put that to 2, I think a good value I had was 3. Let's put it to 4 for the foggy day, so you have it like this. And now I made myself this preset, and I could say now preset and then save as new. And then we're going to say this is foggy day, for example, and we're going to save it. So that's as easy as you can create weather presets if you want to. And now if I say I just want to go back to the blue tint, just load it, and it changes back over to the blue tint. I got to say though, something, I don't know what exactly I did over here. I think it's the atmosphere. Let's put it back to 1. Yeah, that looks a lot better. And I'm not sure what I did wrong over here. Some things don't really feel correct for me. I'm not sure what I have changed to make it look a bit weird. Not going to change. Actually, I could change the clouds a little bit. Let's get a bit of coverage in and a tiny bit of, yeah, maybe like that, and a bit more thickness into them. So just have a bit of clouds in the sky. I think that looks better than having none. We can also reduce the speed, which is dramatically improvement as well, if I may say that. And in the atmosphere, you can also have haze, by the way, which if you get it in, you can see there comes the haze. I think actually the haze is something I do like a lot to get in. Sometimes it helps to even get some cooler colors in. Like you can have like a sky color, for example, like this one, and then just the more haze you bring in, as you can see, it just kind of creates this overlay, almost like bluish overlay, but I just want to have like a very subtle one. And if we go to sun, this is like the color I have right now, but I really don't like it as much. You can see I can go all the way back to white. Then it is all the greens are back in, as you can see. It's like much more colorful again as it used to be beforehand, which I don't really like, I guess. I think I'm gonna go down this bit here. Something like this is good. And, you know, you could play around with it as long as you want until you find your perfect setup. I quite like this, to be honest. This looks a lot more like Planet Zoo, I guess, at the end of the day. Even though it still has a lot too much greens in here, like yellow-green, I should say. I would love to get this down even further. So let's see if we can do something about this. Maybe. You can also see how the different colors already immediately affect how things look, like this greeny, more bluey over here. You can see really that gets a lot darker. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of happy somewhere around here is fine, I guess. And then you could play around whatever you want, but I'm going to say this is the blue, and we're going to save this and confirm the blue tint again. All right, so as promised, we're going to do one more weather, and this is obviously snow, because snow is yeah, it's one of these things that annoys me so much in this game. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch the weather, and we're going to go all the way to snow. There you go. Let's just keep everything covered in snow so we have a good idea of how it should look. All right, so this is snow now. Okay, slow goes snow. This is how it looks, but yeah. Well, first things first, we're going to go into the Sky Studio, and we are going to make sure, oops, I think I don't want to click that one. We're going to make sure that, first of all, everything is cloudy in here, because that is obviously not what we want to have. So cloud speed goes all the way down, cloud scale goes bigger. Height usually, or altitude is usually rather low with snow, so something like this is good. The height can be a bit bigger, and then the coverage goes all the way up. So there you have it. This is already pretty much a lot better, but the coverage has to go almost to 100%. Because this is what it is in snow. Yeah, there can be some little shiny bits in between, that's fine. But we can also use the horizon density. So you can see all the way in the back. There, now we also have clouds there, which is very important. And then we can also change these things. So this is the first thing I wanted to do, and it changes already quite a bit of the scene. But now let's go to the atmosphere, and we obviously create a bit of fog in here, and the fog goes to be gray, light gray, something like this is good, maybe a bit more, maybe like this, and we can make the fog a little bit like this, a little bit more. That is nicer. And then we can play around with the atmospheric density. Usually with snow, I think it's relatively low, so let's put that a little bit lower. So there we have it. And then we can also bring in a lot more haze, obviously, and the haze goes to be white or gray, maybe some silver, light gray. I think that's fine. So that is good. And then you can also kind of create the distance of the haze. I want to have it a bit more like this. And the scatter weight goes also down. We also have the sun scatter. They can see that the sun scatter is a little bit higher. Like usually what happens with snow is that everything is a bit brighter because of the light being reflected by the snow. And you can also reduce or increase the ambient scatter, or you can again skylight intensity. I think I'm gonna draw that down a little bit. So here we go. I will also go for the global illumination, and I'm gonna reduce the bounce a little bit. Oh, actually, what happens if I put it all the way up? It's a bit too bright, actually. And then the intensity goes a little bit lower. So here we have it. So that's pretty cool as well. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go to atmosphere. This is the most important bit. Oh, sun. There you go. First of all, the sun goes to 90 as like this. And the ground multiplier can also be 0.9 maybe to make it a bit less crazy on the ground. There we have it. And then you can obviously change this kind of over here. We can now make it a lot more blue, which it would a lot more like with snow. This is too blue obviously, but we could just try to find a good balance. You can also bring it all the way down here, make it always more darker. You know, this is the sun color, makes it all like this is like, yeah, that's too dark definitely. But we could also just try to bring this up a little more here. I think this is fine, you know, this is definitely fine. And now this is what snow should look like, you know. This is definitely what snow should look like. You could definitely make the sky even more dark if you wanted to. I would love to be able to color the clouds as well a bit more. I'm not sure if we can change something about this with the thickness. No, I think don't. Density, no, that doesn't also do much about this because you can't even see them so much anyways. But yeah, so this is definitely how I wanted to make this look. The atmosphere helped a lot as well. The fog, you know, we could also get rid of the haze a little bit more. Doesn't really change that much if you have it like, let's make the haze whiter. There you have it. So there's like subtle changes, but they make a huge difference. I mean, just look at how the game looks now with the snow. This is how snow should really look like, you know. This is how the whole game should have looked like immediately with snow. This is a snowy day, how I imagine that to be, okay? But you can, again, do a lot more. So if we, for example, were to save that one, preset, save as new, I'm going to call this snow. Obviously, this is going to look even better once you change the time of day, which we are going to do over here. And then you can also just make sure that we go a little bit to a... so like early day. What you can also do is you can also change the altitude and the was it azimuth? What the heck is this? By the way, this is a weird color. There you have it. I thought that was a very weird time of day over here. This like 10, midday, afternoon. So there's a kind of good timing over here. So this is pretty neat, you know. The override time of day is something I would always not save as a preset, because you can just literally do it for screenshots if you wanted to. But I think it looks fantastic. It looks really, really cool. Now, if you change the weather, obviously, if we were now to go to, let's say, heavy rain, this preset obviously helps quite a lot for heavy rain as well, I assume, because it still is very cloudy. However, for this specific heavy rain, I would then go in and let's have a look over here. And what we're going to do for heavy rain is we are going to, first of all, make this a lot more dark, if possible. There you have that. And then let's go for the atmosphere, and we're going to say the fog color is going to be very dark indeed. So there you have that one. And the atmospheric density goes a little bit higher. There we have that one. And then the fog intensity can be, oh my god, look at how crazy look you can get this. Oh wait, what about doing this a bit more gray then? There we have it. There we have it. You can get some really cool rain effect over here, you know. There's a bit of haze in the background, and yeah, that's pretty cool. We can reduce the density maybe a little, and then the haze color, this comes in very handy as well. You can then adjust even some more stuff with the haze. So if you get rid of the haze a bit more, as you can see, but I think it's nice to have it this way. So that's pretty much heavy rain as you'd expect it to. And now with the sun, this is obviously something that you must do if you want to get rid of the intensity of the sun. There you have that. It just helps quite a lot with changing the appeal of it. But I think the ground multiplier can also go a little lower. There you have that, because down here you don't want to have that much light going on. We can just clear that off a little bit more. I mean, that's fine. You know, this is how we can get to it. And then what I want to do over here, sky ambient light, as you can see, if I bounce that up, you can see how the whole image gets a bit brighter. I want to bring this all the way down to almost have none. And the sun direct intensity goes also down a little. Also we had is that the sundial. Oh, there you go. Sun disk. I want to make this thing very, very small, because if we were to catch where the sun is, where's the sun? We can't even see that much because it's trying to get through the clouds over here, but it almost cannot. So yeah, there you have that, and then you could. I mean, I'm still not 100% happy with it, but you could like, literally do like so much. Also the coverage. Why am I? Oh, because the sky is so okay. I thought this. Oh my god, the sky is looking so odd already because of all my changes. That I thought it's gonna be. It is cloudy, but we can just reduce the density and increase the coverage again. I want to have some clouds peeking through. Yeah, that looks nice. And then something like this should be nice, so that it gets a bit more, yeah, that looks a bit more dramatic, I guess. All right, so presets, let's save this as a new, and this could be heavy rain then. And I'm sure that, you know, people will be figuring out better presets than I have over here, but I mean, just look at how it changes the whole appeal of the game, and oh, it's so good. It's just so freaking good. This is heavy rain. This is how I would have imagined heavy rain to be from the beginning, you know. Have a look at that. This is, yeah, and so with the clouds this way, it also makes sense that you have a bit of sun coming down, but it is realistic now to have that much rain. It just makes so much more sense. And yeah, this mod for me personally is a absolute must now. I will not be able to live without this mod anymore. It is absolutely the perfect mod. I absolutely would love to see more of this mod. Maybe we can have even more control over how the lighting goes, but already there's so much control over here. But the color, it's just so freaking amazing. I absolutely love this mod. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video over here. I tried my best to showcase the best usages of this mod. So yeah, as you can tell, this is a brand new mod. Well, actually not brand new, but at least the fact that you can save presets now is brand new. And yeah, I just cannot stress how amazing this is. And if we were to just get rid of the rain and go to cloudy, so here you can have that foggy day if you wanted to. Ah, it's so good. It's so freaking good. And now you could also, again, change the whole thing to, oops, where's the, let's go back to snow one more time. So we have everything in place here. And then we do quickly load the snow. Load that one in. And there you go. Just speed up the process so that snow gets to cover everything. Ah, so freaking good. So freaking good. Is there still some... This looks still oddly with the water on the on the sides over here. But yeah, so this is basically how I envision this all to be. And I really do hope that this is going to be something Frontier is fixing themselves. We can also go back to blue tint if we wanted to. And load the blue tint in. And then we have the normal day back again. And we can have just cloudy, I guess. So there you go. I don't know what exactly I did to the clouds here, by the way, but yeah. This is a mod I would 100% without hesitation recommend you use, because it is not destroying anything of your game, not at all, but it will give you control over basically everything you've ever wanted to change. And yeah, it's just a fantastic mod for everyone who loves to have its visuals a bit more realistic or dramatic or whatever you want to do with your realistic or like your builds. And why is that pink, by the way? Okay, never mind. I think... oh my god. Okay, I gotta fix this at some point. Never mind. I just saw that briefly. Never mind. I hope you guys enjoyed today's little overview of the Sky Studio mod. I am blown away by it, as you can tell. I did a way longer video than needed, but I wanted to go in depth with the mod itself. I mean, it's relatively quickly explained what it does, but all the settings and stuff like that is very good to see, hopefully, in action. So, yeah, I gotta catch you in the next one. Until then, have a good time, and... bye, and don't forget to subscribe, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff on YouTube. You know how that works. And yeah, well, thank you.